Welcome to Rally Australia 2011. The World Championship is back down under, but this time at a new location on the Coffs Coast, New South Wales. This country was built on hard work, team spirit and strong will to survive. With the 2011 title race finally balanced, the winner of Rally Australia will need all three in abundance. The resort town of Coffs Harbour is the host city, 530 kilometres north of New South Wales capital Sydney. Over the 3 days, the WRC crews will tackle the Shire roads of the Coffs Harbour hinterland and then head into the bush, north and south of the city. We've chosen the second pass through Shipmans as our stage of the day, with high-speed, narrow sections, jumps and water splashes. It has everything, and it's one the drivers are most concerned about. Our featured driver here is two-times Australia winner Mikko Hirvonen. Will follow his progress over the whole weekend in his quest to make it three. Whether it's been in Perth or the Northern Rivers, this event is non-stop action. 2011 will be no different. The Coffs gravel stages will present the ultimate dust-up. The stages are a mixture of hard base roads with fast and flowing, then tight and twisty sections running through a combination of open areas and dense rainforests.
I was expecting a very, very fast road and between the trees, and that's what we have over here. But there was also roads which are very open, and that reminds me from New Zealand, so that was a bit of a surprise.
The stages are looking good, nice. Maybe not easy in some parts because it's very fast, and especially if it's raining, it can be very tricky.
The stages are very fast and narrow, and I think the pace notes will be very important here. So I think we just have to keep focus here and just try to find out how it goes. Yeah.
Russian driver Evgeny Novikov found out exactly how important concentrating on pace notes is here on the pre-event shakedown.
Wow, that's not so clever. It was don't cut.
On the last round in Germany, tension levels reached boiling point between Citroen's two Sebastians. Team orders to hold position infuriated Ogier. In turn, Loeb was unimpressed by Ogier's tantrums.
I think today the good thing is there is a justice in the sport, so that's a good thing.
I think he's speaking a bit much, too much.
So how do things stand now the dust is settled?
We have to talk after this event for sure, and now I think the situation is okay and everything is clear, and it was a problem inside the team, but now I think everything is okay, and we have absolutely nothing to say about that.
No, it has been no special discussion, and the feeling is like we are here to do our job, so it's like always each driver is doing his job, and we work together for the setting and that, so it's no problem.
The pressure on Loeb and Ogier increases here this weekend. A win and fourth place will secure Citroën the manufacturer's title. Team orders will have to be obeyed. Ford's Mikko Hirvonen will be like a hungry shark, circling its prey, hoping that the Citroën unrest is a weakness he can attack. His first win was in Perth 2006. He won again at Northern Rivers in 2009. As our featured driver, will follow his progress all weekend.
4 rallies to go, but I'm not, I just want to really finish the season now and get as good result as possible, and that's the only way to get back in the fight in the championship as well. So yeah, for sure we try to win this one, and then we'll see where we are.
Coffs Harbour has welcomed the WRC with open arms, and thousands of Aussies turned out for the pre-event rally show and ceremonial start. It's a brand new location for rallying's elite drivers, but the early signs were really promising, despite an early evening rain shower. Our man of the moment, Mikko Hirvonen, getting a warm welcome as he passed over the start ramp. Immediately following that was the first passes through the Kofs Super Special stage, a 3.7-kilometre blast around the streets of the town's harbour area. Again, plenty of fans lining the streets despite the wet weather, and the slippery tarmac proved really tricky in these gravel spec cars. It was a strong start for the two Citroën boys, a win apiece for Loeb and Ogier, with the latter having the slight edge after stage 2. Ogier again showing his prowess on sealed surfaces. Sebastian up by 0.6 of a second after the opening action. The rally proper began the following morning, though, with a loop of 3 stages out in the countryside and forests inland from the Kofs coast, repeated once. The first day finishes with another 2 passes through the Harbourfront Super Special, 116 competitive kilometres in total. Sebastian Loeb will lead the cruiserway into the opening gravel stage. He holds a 25-point lead over his teammate Ogier. Hirvonen is beginning to lose ground in the championship race. He and his compatriot Latvala will hope their superior road position counts. Petter Solberg is 5th on the road. Then comes the M Sport Stobart pair of Matt Wilson and Henning Solberg. Khalid Al-Qasimi is back for his 6th outing of the season, while Peter van Merkstein, Ken Block and Evgeny Novikov are all making their Australia debuts. Here we go then, after another reboot. Rally Australia is back, and the incredible Shipmans is quite a stage to get us started. 7-time world champion Sebastian Loeb is first into action. The overnight rain, of course, should be good news for the Citroën start. These damp roads won't have as much loose gravel around for Seb to sweep clear for the chasing pack. But the Frenchman has had problems in the past tackling new stages. No love lost between Loeb and his teammate Sébastien Ogier these days. Time now, though, for Loeb's young compatriot to do his talking on the stages. Safely through one of the stage's water splashes. The first of the Ford Abu Dhabi drivers into stage 3 is Mikko Hirvonen. The Flying Finn has won the previous 2 Rally Australias. It's been a tough year for Mikko since his win on the snow of Sweden. A hat-trick of Aussie wins would be a real boost to his fading championship hopes. Mikko's teammate, Jari-Matti Latvala, is one of the fastest drivers on the planet, but the 26-year-old has suffered a miserable run of luck in recent months. And he's looking a bit ragged out there at the moment. Latvala giving it a go early on here. Oh, and a massive moment again for Jari. A heavy impact at the front of the car too. He must have picked up some damage. Latvala proving just how tough this combination of flat-out roads and the slippery surface is. Around 9 seconds lost there. That could have been a lot worse. Let's try and work out what went wrong. He just loses the rear of the car. It pitches him into a high-speed spin. Luckily, there was a fence there where he could have been in the trees. Up ahead, Loeb is again showing why he's dominated this sport for the last 7 years. Despite these incredibly difficult conditions, he's through Shipmans in one piece. Let's have a word with the world champion down at the stop control.
Sebastian first on the road this morning, which is maybe the damp conditions are going to help you a little bit.
It was okay. You're not allowed to do a mistake here. I didn't do one, so I'm happy to be here.
Well, Loeb's looking like the man to beat in this challenging first gravel stage. We're back with Hirvonen now, and the clay-based surface is even more slippery towards the finish. Oh, and Hirvonen right on the limit too. He's clipped a pole there. Shouldn't cause too many problems, but it might have affected his confidence through the latter part of the stage, looking really wild, and he's almost 10 seconds off Loeb's pace. You can see he's lost some bodywork there. Further back, you can clearly see the damage to Latvala's Ford Fiesta too. It looks mainly cosmetic, but like his teammate, that off may have dented Jari-Matti's concentration. In one stage, the Finn has lost more than 26 seconds to the rally leader.
Beginning of the stage, just right hand, there's a long left hand corner and then very fast right hand corner. Went a bit wide. No, I thought it's all right, no worries. But there was something at the very exit of the corner, and it just snapped the rear left tire and we spun on the forest, so it was a bit stressful driving after that, but we are here, so we just need to make sure we don't really lose any more than this today.
Petter Solberg is a former winner of Rally Australia in its old location in Perth. The Citroën Privateer has been a little off the pace in recent rallies, but was really pleased with the performance of his DS3 in the pre-event shakedown. Been really quick in the early splits, but the Norwegian's time fades a little in the later kilometres. His setup a bit too stiff for this really muddy surface towards the finish. Ken Block is under no illusions what a tough task awaits him on his first Aussie adventure.
30, left 4 plus, 50,
Oh, but that's a big off for the Californian. Well, Block's co-driver Alex Gelsomino looks a bit shaken up, and that car isn't going anywhere. Thankfully, both Ken and Alex walk away unharmed. It's been an eventful return to New South Wales. Loeb is out front, 2 seconds up on his teammate, with Hirvonen third. Latvala is fifth, following that early off-road excursion. Plenty more to come from Rally Australia, and with conditions worsening, the Cox Coast roads continue to cause havoc. Welcome back to Australia. The rain is now pouring down in Coffs Coast, and there are still 2 more challenging stages to take on before a service stop. Back out in the forests, our rally leader is on his way into the 13 kilometres of the Bruklana stage, looking to defend that slender advantage on his teammate. He's lost it! Wow, that just doesn't happen. Loeb has crashed heavily in stage 4. And what impact could that have on the rally? Not to mention the championship fight. Huge drama in the Australian bush. The car is on its side, and Loeb has wasted no time climbing out. Both he and Daniel Eleanor are thankfully unharmed. Let's take another look at what went wrong there. I think Loeb said something to Eleanor just before the off. Yeah, there. I'm not sure what was discussed, but it may have distracted him as the DS3 is flipped into a barrel roll. Really strange. Loeb just doesn't do mistakes. You can see him looking down. Something on the dashboard caught his eye, I think. It's the first time he's rolled since Greece 2009, and he's only crashed out 5 times in his entire 12-year career. And suddenly, this rally and the championship race has been blown wide open. Sebastian Ogier has been waiting for the pressure of competition to tell on his teammates, and finally, Loeb has cracked. The question is now, can Ogier capitalise? The Frenchman has replaced his compatriot in the top spot. It also opens a window of opportunity for Mikko Hirvonen. The Finn is coming up to the corner that caught out Loeb. Yeah, there is the car, still on its side at the edge of the road. And Loeb's dramatic error could spark Mikko's own title hopes back into life. Hirvonen still finding the constant grip changes on this slippery surface incredibly difficult to judge, though. He is second fastest in stages 4 and 5. Jari-Matti Latvala has already had a scare this morning. But despite driving with damaged steering following that off-road trip in stage 3, the Ford-man's speed is steadily building. Jari-Matti claims his first stage win in the first pass through the Oolong test. And you can see just how wet this surface is now from Latvala's bumper. Loeb's retirement seems to have inspired a burst of speed from a number of drivers. Petter Solberg has been stuck on 13 wins for 6 years now. Could this provide an opportunity for number 14? Quickest in stage 4, Petter's begun to close on the leading pair. Oh, but that's a scary moment for Petter. A high-speed spin for the former world champion. Solberg, a lucky boy there. That could have been a lot worse. But he does drop 13 seconds with that moment and slips behind Latvala on the leaderboard. At least he's still in the running, though, back in the forest. Loeb is contemplating just how costly that rare mistake might have been.
What happened is that we went off the road, like you can see. I just entered a bit too fast in a right-hander here, and Because I've done a mistake. I saw a split time on the dash. I was disconcentrated, didn't brake enough for the corner, and then I was a bit too fast. I was not taking risks. I've done a very clean stage before that, and just looking at something, and when I saw the corner it was too late.
This is a very rare moment indeed. Seven-time world champion Loeb is absent from the leaderboard. His teammate and closest championship rival Ogier now leads 9.1 seconds ahead of Hirvonen, with Latvala up to third, but he's just 2 tenths up on Petter Solberg. With the rain still falling, and understandably Loeb's dramatic retirement will dominate discussions back at the service park alongside the Coffs Harbour Airport.
As we saw this morning, it's tricky and everybody can do mistakes, so still a lot of stages to go, and we have to stay concentrated, and yeah, it's an opportunity, but everything is to do.
In a way, it is what we needed, but I still need to finish the rally as well, and when it's like this, anything can happen, like we now saw. So I can't really relax or anything yet, so let's see, I can just keep it in a row and get good points from here.
Our stage of the day is next, and as we saw in the first pass through Shipmans, this is an incredible challenge. 29 kilometres of blisteringly quick roads, and it's still raining. With his teammate out of the running, this rally is now even more crucial for Sébastien Ogier, but just look at these conditions. Mikko Hirvonen starts the afternoon loop just 9.1 seconds behind the leader. The Finn is pushing as hard as he dares, but it's still really difficult to judge where there's grip, especially on these hard compound tyres. The water splashes will be deeper too. These conditions are looking more like Wales Rally GB in November than an Australian round. It's a wild ride for Latvala too, but he's still keeping the pressure on the leading pair. We can find out how much pressure using our WRC stage simulator. Approaching the split time after 15 kilometres. Ogier is well ahead. Really getting some daylight between himself and the Finns now. Not much between the two Fords though. Just a tenth of a second separating Hirvonen and Latvala. And let's rejoin Hirvonen now. And take a look at his in-car telemetry. See how tentative Mikko is on the brakes as he arrives at corners. Braking distance is almost impossible to judge in the mud. And this stage is still breathtakingly quick despite the nightmare conditions. The speedometer briefly nudging 120 kilometres an hour there. Oh, but he's off the road here. Mikko off into the field. He was lucky there were no trees around at that corner. A wild moment for the Ford man, but he survives to fight another day and wastes little time getting back on the road. And rejoining the rally leader. The early split times, as we just saw, have looked really promising in stage 6. Great aerial view of the Australian forest roads here. Ogier looking calm and collected despite the lack of grip. He can take advantage of Hirvonen's slip up now, of course, and pull even further ahead. Pace notes as ever coming from Julien Ingracia. Oh, but that was a big hit. I think Ogier might have blown it. But this was an amazing opportunity for Sébastien to catch his teammate in the championship. But like Loeb, he's gone off the road. A lot of damage to the front. Incredible scenes. Both Citroën Works drivers are out. Further back in the stage is the Ford Fiesta of Mikko Hirvonen. Suddenly, Mikko's chances of claiming his first win since February have been dramatically increased. Hirvonen becomes the third different leader of Rally Australia. And you don't hear this very often, but Petter Solberg in his privately entered DS3 is now Citroën's leading driver. Oh, but Petter's lost control at the same place as Hirvonen. No grip at that left-hander at all. These are the best rally drivers in the world. But driving these Coffs Coast roads in the wet on hard compound tyres is getting increasingly treacherous. Petter survived that, but it must have rattled him. He's almost half a minute slower than Latvala.
I've never seen conditions like this, I think. Not even in Wales. And I really have too hard setup still, you know, but this is the worst I ever seen, I think.
Solberg survives, but that is now 2 smashed-up Citroens lying broken in the forests, and that's a huge opportunity missed for Sébastien Ogier.
As you can see, I had something with the front of my car and I destroyed the radiator, so it was impossible to continue.
Did you try and continue after you hit the tree?
Yeah, we tried to continue, but then we had to stop because the temperature was very high and we didn't want to do damage to the engine, so we had to stop. We tried to fix it, but it was not possible.
It's the first time for 2 years that both works Citroens have gone off on the same day, and look what it does to the leaderboard. It's now a Ford 1-2, with Solberg the only Citroen in the top 10. He's just over half a minute off the lead. 4 more stages still to come on this dramatic opening day of the New Look Rally Australia. They're coming up after this break. Welcome back to New South Wales for what's been a nightmare start to Rally Australia for Citroen. Both their Works DS3s are out, but it's still game on in the fight for top honours. And for now, it's Ford's Finns who are in pole position to take the top spot. After so many high-profile incidents on these treacherous, muddy roads, the prime objective for rally leader Mikko Hirvonen will be to make it to the finish line in one piece. The Finn completely focused on the pace notes from Jarmo Leitonen on the final mud-filled forest roads of day 1.
It's been like hell. It's been unbelievable slippy. It's been so difficult to kind of pick your pace through the corners because you have no idea what kind of grip you have, and some places once you hit the brakes it's like going straight on the ice.
We saw a battle of wills in Germany when team orders were called by Citroen. It remains to be seen what Ford will do with their 2 men suddenly in a very strong position. The Finns set a fastest time each in stages 7 and 8, with Latvala taking the scratch time in the final gravel stage of the day. Petter Solberg, though, has already had a couple of close calls. The Norwegian could be in a strong position, though, running behind the Ford drivers. The stages might have been a mud bath today, but there could be some road sweeping to contend with if the roads dry out for day 2. Further back, Evgeny Novikov has defied his lack of experience to keep his Fiesta on the road on his Australia debut. He's up to 4th and showing really good pace. The Russian was 2nd fastest in stage 6. Oh, but he's lost it here.
Yes, I worry. Yes, I worry.
And it looks like the Coffs Coast event has claimed yet another victim. It's already been a brutal day, but with Novikov's steering arm smashed, he is out for the day too. The skid marks tell the tale, but not for the first time this season. A promising start for Novikov has ended in frustration. Replacing Evgeny in 4th is his M-Sport Stobart teammate Henning Solberg. The Norwegian has scored some of his best results in events with tough conditions, and he's battled his way through these sodden roads. Henning could be on course for his best result of the season. The 3rd Stobart M-Sport driver competing is Matt Wilson, who's also survived the worst that the Coffs Coast could throw at him on day 1. The British driver finishes the final gravel stage within half a minute of his teammate Henning. And now, running in 6th place, is Khaled Al-Qasimi, who lost his bumper in a water splash earlier. The Emirati driver has only managed 2 points finishes from his 5 starts in 2011, but the Ford Abu Dhabi man has pulled out his best performance of the year so far in these incredibly tough conditions down under. After stage 8, Hirvonen's lead is just 6.6 seconds over his teammate. Petter Solberg has slipped away a bit. He's more than half a minute behind Latvala, with Petter's older brother behind him in 4th position. After a brutal day's rallying, the remaining drivers who've survived the treacherous muddy forests will be relieved to make it to the relative safety of the Coffs Harbour Super Special. The slick tarmac, though, will still provide a tricky finale to the opening leg, especially tackling this tight 4-kilometre circuit twice in the dark and driving cars set up for gravel. Last night, there was a winner piece on these stages for the 2 Citroen Total drivers, but tellingly, with both Works DS3s taking a battering in the forests. This time, it's a winner piece for Hirvonen and Latvala. While it's been a horrible day for their rivals, for Ford and for rally leader Hirvonen, it couldn't look better.
It's been a very difficult day. I mean, such a difficult conditions that it hasn't been so enjoyable all the time. So, you know, I made my own mistakes during the day. Many people made even bigger mistakes, so I'm just happy to be here, and you know, we'll see what we can do tomorrow.
The Blue Oval boys lie first and second with Latvala 7 seconds behind his teammate. Solberg will look to attack from third on day 2, but he's over 44 seconds behind the leader. Henning Solberg, Matt Wilson and Al Qasimi are the only other WRC cars to make it through day 1. It's been an incredible start to Rally Australia, and with 2 long days still to tackle, who knows what drama still lies ahead. We'll be back tomorrow with the second day's highlights, but for now, from Coffs Harbour, it's goodbye.